Listen, Moyes is not recovering from this impossibly difficult start. Start clearing out your desk, because I'm sorry. Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester, Tottenham, Man City and Liverpool. Coming through that fixture list with your job still intact is about as likely as walking through a beach of Magaluf without contracting a yeast infection. Honestly lads, West Ham will be bottom of the league in November. Trust me, timestamp this, remember this one. Because if they're not, I will gladly rub a bowl of soggy Weetabix all over my face.
I hate you, Jesse Lingard. Yeah, this is arguably one of my worst ever predictions. I said Moyes would be out of a job by Halloween, spending his Christmas having a sad and lonely tug in the fireplace. Now we're nearly in March and West Ham are 4th in the league. This time last year, Karen Brady was eager to cancel the league because the Hammers were dangerously hanging on the brink of relegation. But again, ask her the same question now, and I'm pretty sure she'd have a very different answer. What sort of bizarre alternate reality are we actually living in? And I'm sorry, for those of you who think that Moyes' success finally proves that I do have a brain made of pepperoni, then no, I'm sorry. Not a single West Ham fan on the planet thought this was going to work. Not a single living and breathing entity, except maybe Moyes' mother, thought he was going to do well at West Ham. Under Moyes last season, they lost 21 games, including 4-0 to bastard Oxford. They wound up 16th in the league, and then began their season limply slumping to an insipid 2-0 defeat at home to Newcastle. I'm sorry, but you're allowing Jeff Hendrick to score an actual goal against you. It's like losing your virginity to a toilet bowl. It's not exactly an achievement you're going to want to stick on the fridge. People talk about Jose Mourinho as yesterday's man. No. Moyes is the epitome of that phrase, or at least he was, before he turned my entire perception of reality upside down. A former Everton mid-table coach who never recovered from his time at Old Trafford. Good Christ, that was a more traumatic 9 months than the pregnancy of the mother of Edward Scissorhands. By the end of that, her kidneys were probably so punctured, she probably had to piss out her nose. But lads, if you don't believe me, let's take a look at what the Man United fans thought about Moyes in 2014.
I can't keep calm.
You are nothing, you are a fool, and you are a waste of time.
Still doing his goblin-esque things.
He's a Preston manager. He's an Everton manager. He's not a Man U manager.
You're a malingering, meandering monstrosity.
Yeah, he just blown his once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. After 10 years of working his nutsack off at Everton, it's been like having a seasoned journeyman actor like James Franco, a guy who for the last 15 years has mainly operated in substandard movies. It's a bit like if he was finally given his big break, cast as the lead role in a prestigious Martin Scorsese movie, only to be fired after 3 weeks on the job for accidentally impregnating a toaster live on set. Again, just demoralising. Moyes was seen as football's biggest joke in the spring of 2014, and there were leaks in the media which began to hint that he looked like his formerly composed tactical brain was now beginning to resemble a wet lump of scrambled egg. Oh, by the way lads, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. Let's try and get to 500,000 subs. Let's get back into the video. The guy was expecting a 6-year plan, but if he truly thought that a former Preston coach would be able to lose 16 games in his debut season at Old Trafford and then keep his job until 2019, then that's about as naive as anyone thinking they can trick or treat at James Corden's house. Do you really think he's gonna share anything that's coated in sugar? I'm pretty sure if you tried to even take a Milky Way out of his fridge, he'd probably chop off your fingers with a bread knife. At Everton, Moyes was one of English football's most respected coaches. Now, he was standing on the touchline with an airplane flying over his head calling for him to lose his job. He must have gone home that night and cried into a plate of lasagna, and wondering why there was a trail of condoms and a Crystal Palace lunchbox outside his daughter's bedroom door. Just kidding, alright, I'm sure Wilfred Zaha was at home that night playing Scrabble with his dog. Anyway, this man was a national joke, a punchline. Forced to flee the country to grab a job in Spain with Real Sociedad. Yeah, he managed to beat Barcelona, but what chance did a fellow with a thick Glaswegian accent have in a Spanish dressing room? No wonder he was sacked after just 1 year in charge. So then he replaces Sam Allardyce at Sunderland, a club who usually flirted with relegation, but hadn't actually gone down since 2006. Step forward Moyes. It took him 10 matches to win a game. They finished bottom of the league, and I remember interviewing Sunderland fans about Moyes back then, and here's what they had to say.
What are your thoughts on David Moyes, lads?
Don't think you'd be able to publish them. You're a custodian over this ground. I'll spend £40,000 a year to watch this team. Go. Clueless, gutless, spineless, not an idea.
Oh, watching Sunderland fans on the verge of heart failure when they were losing games in the Premier League. Oh, fast forward 5 years. Well, at least they're in the final of the Papa John's trophy. And you know a piece of silverware is prestigious when it's named after a pizza. So there. That's what the football world thought of David Moyes. So yeah, when he rocked up at West Ham, off the back of 3 consecutive failures, you can't blame the West Ham fans for wanting to scoop their eyes out with a teaspoon.
Do we want Billy to go low if we're going to get David Moyes in? I'll be serious now. If that's our ambition, getting David Moyes in, I'll tell you now. Alright,
yes, he did keep them up that season and steadied the ship, but was then chucked in a bid for Manuel Pellegrini. And then to demonstrate just how unappealing this man was to modern football, he was able to sit on his couch for the entire 18 months of Pellegrini's reign at West Ham before returning in December 2019 for an 18-month contract. I guess Everton registered a brief interest in him the previous month, although let's be honest, most Toffees fans would probably sooner have ripped both nipples off their chest. This guy was arguably football's most out-of-date manager, a guy more untouchable than a fat altar boy, a guy whose dignity and self-respect to be splattered across a roadside ditch. So how is he 57 and currently 4th in the Premier League? What self-respecting human being saw this coming back in September? Anyone? You might all say that I do have a brain made of wet spinach for forecasting a relegation scrap, but I'm sorry, if a team who buys Craig Dawson from Watford is then given a fixture list from hell, playing Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester, Tottenham, Man City and Liverpool in a row, on the face of it, that's about as appealing as being told to romance the entire cast of the Undateables. You'd probably rather eat a chunk of used toilet paper. Well lads, the Hammers have been brilliant. Go back to 2017 when Moyes first got the job and the squad was top heavy, littered with overpaid big names. Talented footballers, yes, but with the motivation and work rate of an expired pumpkin. Even when he returned in 2019, the likes of Jack Wilshere, Philippe Anderson, Sebastian Haller, expensive big names, but relying on them is like relying on a colourblind lifeguard to save your drowning child. The West Ham board has spent the last 10 years offering fat paychecks to massive big brand names, and it very rarely works. Moyes though, he's just scoured the lower leagues for bargain deals. Jared Bowen, Said Benrahma and Craig Dawson all arrived from the Championship, and also Thomas Suchek and Vladimir Kufal from Slavia Prague. They've all been excellent players, but the big one. Just roll the damn clip. In the year 2021, Jesse Lingard has been reunited with David Moyes, but this is such a typical West Ham signing that I thought they'd moved on from. And apparently you're going to pay him a £500,000 bonus if West Ham qualify for Europe. What sort of brain-dead business is that? This team is halfway towards Europe, and it would be an incredible achievement for this set of hard-working players. But can you imagine the state of the morale if at the end of the season that club are forced to fork out £500,000 and giving it to Lingard for everyone else's hard work? It's not often I have to apologize for a video I made 3 weeks later. Usually I'd like it to be a bit longer than that before I've been completely proved wrong. In my defense, Jesse Lingard turns 29 years of age this year and has been mostly coated in dust stuffed in the Manchester United attic. Crazy above, even Shola Shortire, a guy who sounds like the product of Amiobi impregnating a hobbit, even he moved above Lingard and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans. This fella was just looking like a former footballer who now just lives on social media, and I'm sorry, this past his best big name arrival at West Ham, looking for one last payday. When has that ever worked before? It just smelled of Stuart Downing, Joe Cole, Joe Hart, Chicharito, Pablo Zabaleta, Alvaro Arbeloa, Jack Wilshere, undeniably talented individuals, but at West Ham, we're about as useful as donuts made of cheese. But he's been brilliant. 2 goals in his debut against Aston Villa, another one in a win against Tottenham against his old boss, and if Declan Rice had just let him take the penalty last week, he'd be stuck on 4 goals in 4 games. I know we're only 3 weeks in, but right now, Lingard is making me look like a caveman who's just had his brain dragged out his nose. So here is my apology, Jesse Lingard. You've looked lively, dangerous, and all around brilliant player so far for West Ham. And Moyes, again, like most people on planet Earth, I thought this guy was finished, but he's not. Also, I do remember doing a video on Jose Mourinho when Tottenham were top of the league in November. Listen, no, okay, I might have been wrong about Lingard, but I'm refusing to concede that Jose Mourinho is finished. No, yes, a succession of failures, it looks bad. But lads, I refuse to sit here and say that Mourinho is washed up sooner than David Moyes. Lads, Don't forget, if the West Ham owners hadn't rescued Moyes from his couch in 2019, you'd all assume that he was still a washed up tub of toothpaste. And similarly, I think Mourinho still has success living inside his body. Good guys, he could have picked an easier job, you know, chosen PSG or Bayern Munich, and I promise you, he'd be hoovering up silverware and making his CV look even more impressive, but he chose a riskier path in Tottenham. You know, a club who've won just one League Cup in the last 20 years, a club who have no divine right to finishing 4th every season. Yeah, I know they have a world star like Harry Kane, but lads, Sir Bobby Robson did Alan Shearer at Newcastle, and they didn't automatically finish inside the top 4 every season. And did that make Robson a past a washed up coach? No, wash your mouth out with butter. Things are looking bad for Spurs right now. 5 defeats in 6 games is relegation form. But calm down, Tottenham fans. If Moyes, David Moyes, a guy who started managing in 1998, is still going strong in 2021, then Mourinho, a born winner with actual medals in his bedside drawer, he'll turn it around. Just give him time. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. How is Jesse Lingard so good? And let me know in the comment section below. Enjoy the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.